All right. The bar has been set, Chicago. Indianapolis doesn't beat us at anything, so you're good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Show's still got a couple tickets left, so
Yep.
you guys want to come check it out if you're watching in the area. These promoters suck balls. So I can't tell you how many times I'll walk around a city and people ask me what I'm doing there. Well, dude, what are you doing here? It's like, I got a fucking show around the corner, man. I'm playing a show, if you didn't know.
Well, that's just because they're shitty fans and they're not paying attention.
I'm just going to put the promoters on blast. I haven't seen any posters in any city where I've been. I haven't heard any radio ads. I haven't heard. They're leaning on the buzz of the album and Facebook and Twitter, man. I understand it just doesn't work like that. You gotta fucking put a little effort into letting people know that we're in the city. Just a couple flyers and posters, at the very least.
Help
We've
this
seen
guy
nothing.
out.
Have you guys seen anything around Chicago?
American Street Team, Jimbo Manley.
Yeah.
That's me, though.
I know. That's why he's coming to Chicago next week for Big Heavy.
I'm saying,
That's
have you
promotion.
guys seen any flyers for the show? See? Nothing. Crickets.
I
So
haven't
get on
seen
your
any
job.
flyers. But
No, I'm not trying to point no fingers. I'm just saying
I'm not pointing any fingers, but
because I don't know who is doing what.
But
they
when
need to
I
get on
find
the
out,
shit.
I'm just kidding. Well, we have been pumping the shit out of your show and playing Till It's Gone, which, what an incredible song, what an incredible album, by the way. I meant
Thanks.
to tell you that first off. But that's one of the songs that Walt started out playing for the first time on Queued Up, which is a new music focus show that he does on Sunday nights. And Walt is a music guru. He finds things that, like, it's like, where did you even find this? So ever since that first spin, the feedback that we've gotten here at 101Wkqx has been unreal. It's one of those songs that it will literally make you stop what you're doing and be like, wait a minute, this is awesome, because it doesn't fall into any specific genre. It's not in a category. It's very unique. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, we took a lot of chances with this album, but I think they were, all just calculated risk, really. I experimented with this music like a couple years before Trump music, and I think we just we hit the nail on the head with some of the sounds, just brought it back. We brought back sounds we were trying to put together years before, and just polished it. I've read a few interviews, and it's funny, like, there's 5 records, I won't say which, off of Love Story that were recorded over 10 years ago. And they were the records that no one said would work, but they're the main records that are working now. So I think it's just, we had to, for whatever reason, it's just my path. Trump music took off for me. And so I hopped right in there, and I got in where I fit in, I just started try to sprinkle in those ideas along the way. I'm into this, whether it's a mention of Johnny Cash or whether it's a reference to my small town or whatever it was. I tried to sprinkle along the seeds that led up to this project. And again, like, this project is also the first time where we've cut the strings on anyone creative that didn't belong around.
Really?
So it's just, there's only two featuring vocals on the album. That's Marshall Mathers and the McCary sisters, are background vocalists. They're legends. They toured with Bob Dylan for years, and they've done background vocals for countless legends. But besides them and Marshall and myself, we're the only vocals you hear on the whole album. There's only a few producers in there. Myself, Malay, Will Power, and Marshall.
Is that why you ended up in the producer role on this album and not before?
Well, I mean, it's kind of just learning what it is that I do. I've been like quietly producing for a long time. It's just that not understanding exactly what I'm doing. You know, taking tracks that are otherwise just a looped, you know, 4-bar beat, and arranging that and bringing in musicians and turning that into a song is producing, you know, or, but, you know, a couple of the records I was just left alone completely. Devil in My Veins was the one where I really, you know, controlled the session entirely, you know, from front to back. But, you know, the record, the guitar part was written by Bones. The percussion was Clever, DJ Clever. Zach and Lindsay on cello and violin. McCary sisters. Jeff Fireball from Hibbley Casino on upright bass. And then myself. So it's very stripped down. It's the only record I've ever recorded without a metronome. It's all analog. So.
Old school.
Yeah. So, I mean, we just had a lot of fun with this album. And I think it shows. And yeah, I'm super proud of it.
Well,
Till It's Gone was a record that we didn't see coming as a radio record. They actually, the label thought the first single was going to be American You, and they were trying to get Ed Sheeran to sing it.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, no. They were like, well, you need a story. Somebody's got to walk you in the radio. And I was like, well, personally, I was like, well, I guess I'm just not supposed to be on radio then because I can't do that, you know? So I ended up just being, Till It's Gone, started growing its own legs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in Australia, then Europe and Canada, then K-Rock. Started playing it. And then after K-Rock, it kind of spread throughout America on alternative rock radio. So that was our story.
Was that before Sons of Anarchy?
After it premiered on Sons of Anarchy, it started getting, you know, obviously a lot of attention. So, yeah, but we created our own story, which I'm really proud of. I didn't have to go and get a current radio artist to feature on my record just to walk me in the door, which most people are doing these days.
Well, sometimes it's easier that way, but...
Easier's never good.
Yep. So we've also got lots of questions here. I know everyone's chomping at the bit. Let's have Matt Q.
We answered part of it talking about your record, but have you seen the new fans coming out because of the new style? Or?
Oh, man, yeah. Well, every night we've been asking how many people it's your first time you've ever been to a show. It's usually 85 to 90% of the crowd is the first time they've ever been to a show. There's a couple different reasons for that. One is that if we're returning to the same city, it might be a fan to be like, oh, I saw him last time, I'll catch him the next time, you know. The other major part of that is definitely the music. But we did Rock on the Range this year, so I'm alongside Marilyn Manson, you know. So being in the company of someone like Marilyn, who is walking out to Till It's Gone. That's his walkout record.
Really?
Oh.
And and so we had mutual friends. Shooter Jennings is a mutual friend of ours. Johnny Emmerich, who put us on the phone together. We've been texting back and forth. So I could tell you that at one point in 1 week while I was in Nashville, I was texting Marilyn and then Winona Judd and within a period of 5 minutes. So
That's so random, but it totally makes sense, too.
Well, that just to answer the question that yes, I'm starting to see the broadness of it. Like, oh wow, this is some cool shit, you know. So yeah, there's people from all walks coming out to the shows. I think that, you know, probably the entire crowd at Rock on the Range came out to see, man, what the fuck? Who is this guy, you know? But it turned out to be, you know, one of our best shows. And it really translated. I mean, I'm happy that people are starting to... We've always carried a live energy that hasn't been typical of hip-hop. So whether we were doing just straight hip-hop records, we still kind of translated or transferred really a rock and roll energy and outlaw energy off stage. You know, we've always done that. But now that the music is starting to tie that in together, you know, we'll see where it goes. But I personally don't think that, I'm not sure that you can really call this album hip-hop rap. You know, I think it's a little unfair to distribute it as a hip-hop rap record, although there's plenty of that on there, and obviously that a lot of the roots of what I do stems from being an MC in hip-hop, but there's also much more to this album. So I think possibly the next album will be looking at a slightly different title, genre-wise, you know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm not trying to alienate hip-hop by any means. I'm just saying that I think that the long answer is that, yeah, it's going other places.
Well, I like that your music doesn't lend itself to being put in a box, and I don't think that you should try to do that either.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but when we released that album, it went strictly, you know, like to hip-hop blogs and hip-hop critics and hip-hop reviews and hip-hop, which is great, but I felt like because there's other music on there, there's other emotions, there's other influences that it needed some time. It still needs some time to spread around. So that's just what we're doing, man. We're just out rocking shows and, you know, letting it be what it is. I'm not reinventing the wheel, you know, by any means. Kid Rock did this years ago, you know, and so did Andre 3000. You know, just start pushing boundaries. And, but yeah.
Run DMC and Aerosmith, I mean, kind of
broke
that ground to
Public
where,
Enemy, Anthrax.
Yeah, like just breaking those boundaries down where
Zach De La Roche and KRS One. Yeah, there's always been like this. There's always been that, you know. So I don't know. I had no plans. I actually thought Till It's Gone was gonna break, if anything, on country radio. I just thought it would. I was like, I think maybe this might work on country, you know. So nothing ever really happens the way you think it will.
Country has changed a lot, though. Now it's more pop.
Country is like the bling era of hip hop right now.
Where it's happening in country right now.
But there's still a lot of great country in Nashville.
Yes.
And everywhere, really. You just gotta kind of dig for it.
Love that old school stuff, though. Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. That's country to me. Not being a country person.
Our opener is like this psychobilly, rockabilly band from Nashville called Hillbilly Casino. They tear it up.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're like the best opener, for sure.
Okay, so what time are they going on tonight?
Just be there at doors. What time are doors? 8 o'clock.
8?
So
8? That's kind of late.
Yeah, well, yeah, expect them to, if the doors are at 8, expect them to go on at 9.
So make sure you get a party nap in first, so you're ready to rage tonight.
Get a nap in. What are you, 50?
Dude, it's Chicago. You
just get hammered.
All right.
Get a nap in and/or smoke some weed.
Some of us need naps.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm the grandpa here. All right, Eric, your question? Is Eric here? No. Matthew Curtis.
That would be me. Hi, Yelawolf. So, I'm Matt. I go by the name of Vex, doing music. My question, I originally didn't think I would actually get to be here today to ask this. I was going to ask, would you ever be willing to collaborate with an aspiring artist such as myself?
I mean, there's always, when it comes to features, man, there was one time that I took money to do a feature. It was the worst mistake. It was so whack, you know, like, I didn't even show up to the video. I was kind of embarrassed of it when I heard the end result. I needed the money. It was $2,000. I didn't have shit. So I took the check, I featured, and I was like, God, this is just terrible, you know? So it was the only time I've ever done a feature just based on like, yeah, man, let's do that. You know, I have to be creatively invested in it. You know, there was a few records off the last album where I walked in the studio and the feature was already on the song. And you can always tell you can always hear the disconnect. It's always there, you know. So, no, I just don't get on features, and I have to. It's got to make some kind of sense with who I am and what I represent and who the artist is and what they're doing, and honestly, if they're even ready for that kind of attention. If I was to do a feature with you and you had nothing to back it up, you would be in trouble. You know what I mean? I've done it before, you know, early on, and it really can really destroy you if you're not careful, because all of a sudden you got all these people looking at you, but you have no tour planned, you have no merch, you have no music, you have no social media presence, you got nothing. So it just becomes this, it becomes crazy, and they'll just eat you alive. Oh, this dude is not ready, he's not ready. So it's better just to prepare yourself and just to keep rocking. And if we were to meet someday in the studio, then, you know, we'll see. You know what I mean? But I met Big Boy from Outkast on the streets in Manhattan. I thought, it's not the time. About 9 years later, I had built up my own weight. He invited me to the studio, and I did a feature with him. Ended up on the BET Awards with him, performing live. So if you work hard enough, you're going to get the attention from the people that you seek out. But you can't just, you got to put the music before the feature, you know.
Got to be ready for it.
Well, you would rather me
Dex?
go, what's your name? What's your name?
What's your...
Vex?
Vex.
B-E-X? Yeah, so it'd be, you know, the scenario is you want, yo, Bex, this dude Yelawolf is crazy about your music. He wants to holler at you. That's what you want. You know what I'm saying?
You want him to want you.
Or whatever, or whoever. Whoever at all, you know?
So figure it out yourself.
Like, you know, either that or like, you know, it's just a mutual thing, man. Features especially in hip-hop are just so oversaturated and stupid. Like, it makes no sense to try to go and get, I mean, I detest it. It's like, oh, God, really, man? Like, another feature? Really? Like, you guys treat artists like new pair of shoes, like some kind of new Jordan that just came out. Everybody's got to wear the same pair of Jordans, man. Like, it's whack.
Some people wear boots.
Or, fine, if you love Jordans, like, I mean, it's all good. You know? But I just feel like features are oversaturated and not really thought about, man. It's just like, oh, he's big, and they're big, so let's put them all in the same song and make it the super epic track of all time or something. Sell a bunch of records.
Hey, it worked for We Are the World.
Did it?
Did it? All right, we got a question from the chat room. What are the challenges of being a single father while building your career?
Have all 3 kids on the bus with me right now.
Which
It's
is
challenging.
awesome, and?
I mean, it's rewarding to, well, I mean, you know, like, my papa, he came in and raised four babies that were not his own and one of his own. And he worked third shift Goodyear for 30 years. My mama worked first shift at Food World for 30-something years. They both retired. My father was not around, period. My mom bartended my entire life. All I really know is to work, you know? Like, I'd rather not be around as long as I can show up on Friday and things are taken care of. That's always been my thing. Like, you know, it's getting to where now I can afford to bring them along. But, you know, everybody's story is different. I kind of had to build everything from scratch, you know. And for lack of better words, I was trying to like break the curse of my family. I had a lot of people in my family that before me who dreamed, I wanted to do this, but I couldn't because I had kids. I wanted to do this, but I couldn't because I had kids. I was like, fuck that. I'm doing it even more so because I have kids. And yeah, it sucks leaving them cry at the door when you gotta leave for 2 months. But the reward of giving them a good Christmas, making sure they have clothes on their back, I just hope that someday that they'll better understand why I had to leave, and I think they will. You know, they'll respect it. And then it'll inspire them to chase whatever they're dreaming about.
Well, and the times that you can bring them along and let them see that side of your life.
This is the second tour I've brought them. The first tour I brought them, like by the time we got to Alabama, they were like, we want to go to Mama's house. We're over this. This is too much.
It's because you don't nap. That's why. Kids need naps.
So now they're just like, you know, they're chilling so far. I actually canceled a show and I flew out to Puerto Rico right before the Indianapolis show to Puerto Rico to see Dippy's, my daughter's first ballet recital. And then I brought her back on tour with me. So
she's a total rock star.
Yeah, she's the fire starter. So, yeah, so now I got them all three. And, yeah, and Cambo is babysitting. Cambo is my buddy that I met from Alabama. If you don't know about Cambo, look up, is it The Legend of Cambo, the Vice? Vice, my boy Harmony Korine and Vice shot a piece on him called The Legend of Cambo, and we shot a piece on him called Can't Kill Cambo, Slamerican. Check him out online. He's a trip. I think he's about to get his own little show going too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are children involved, or is it just me?
No, it's him being him. He's just well, man. He left the house when he was 17. He lived in the woods alone for 2 years. At 17, he became
like into the wild shit.
Like into the Alabama wild, yeah.
Which
So
has
he's
got to
like-
be alligators and.
There's no gate. Well, there actually was a gator caught behind my sister's house a few years ago randomly. But nah, he's just a beast, young beast.
Young beast. If anyone needs a babysitter.
Yeah. Keep it slow.
All right, we only got a couple more minutes because you got a show to play tonight and stuff. But I know Shelly had a question.
Yeah. So I was actually just wondering. I love all your tattoos. They're all amazing. But do you have a favorite?
Never been asked that before. I think there's a new. Every time I get a new one, it's like my new favorite. But probably the kids' portrait. All their portraits on my back.